Frack on. All right, welcome to another episode of Frack the Canon. This one is it's another React video. Was it a React video or just the regular FTC? I guess it's kind of a React too, or a React review.
Yeah, just a quick take.
A quick take, a little quickie, a little fracky shorts of
A fracking shorty.
fracking shorties. Yes, that is this episode. Fracking shorties. Uh, now you see how our minds work. We will be talking about
Very stupidly.
yes, very, very stupidly. Fracking Falcon in the Winter Soldier. Falcon in the Winter Soldier, episode 4. All right, let's start, TJ. So, I told you, like, to me it seems like this series to me seems like we need a chore to watch for me. I'm watching it because it's Marvel. I'm a Marvel whore. Like, give me my Marvel fix. But that opening scene where we're in Wakanda, we're seeing Bucky.
You sure about this?
I won't let you hurt anyone.
It's not gonna work.
Rozwieć. Pięć. 9. Dobra сердечный. Возвращение. Грузовой вагон. You are free.
Him cheering up got to me. That and I was like, I didn't know this. I didn't know I was so emotionally invested in this character. How did you feel about that?
Me and Sebastian Stan were having a little battle to see whose face could get wetter during that scene. Because freaking A, dude, like I was like, holy crap. And I most of it is Sebastian Stan because he nailed that scene. Like his performance in that scene was phenomenal. And not to downplay, I don't know the actress's name who plays Ayo, and I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce that character's name either.
I don't either.
But Ayo or Io, whatever. But not downplay her acting. You know, she was just in there for a quick shot, and her reaction shot was phenomenal as well. But it just played to the scene. You know, the scene was crafted very well, and the acting in it was amazing. You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh my God, seeing this, what we already know of this character, we haven't seen this moment. We know this moment happened, not necessarily that moment happened, but we know something happened to get him out of it. You know what I mean? And they still didn't tell us necessarily how they did it, but they show us, you know what I mean, like the end of it. You know what I mean? And it's like it was such a powerful moment and a powerful scene. And I do still feel like there is whatever they set up with that scene hasn't been paid off yet. I do, you know what I mean? Like they showed elements of it, and like yes, they throughout the episode, like there was this relationship, this mutual respect between Ao and Bucky. But what I feel like whatever they showed us in that scene, it hasn't fully paid off yet. I think we'll get like a bookend to this little interaction or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't agree with you, however, on it being a chore. From the beginning, I've been fully invested in the series, like, and I want to watch it every week when it comes out. I will say, like, it's not that I enjoyed the other one more, but WandaVision seems to be a bit more polished than Falcon and Winter Soldier in in many ways too. It's not just like, oh, they have better editing or it's WandaVision was like the execution of WandaVision was phenomenal. So it's like even that isn't necessarily like a dig on Falcon and Winter Soldier because the execution of WandaVision is just phenomenal. Like it's hard, it raised the bar like up here, you know what I mean? But it was great execution, which Falcon and Winter Soldier is not matching. But to me, it's still like it's still an incredible series. And this last episode to me was by far the best episode of the series. And it's actually I like this episode more than I liked any singular WandaVision episode. And I liked it more than I liked any singular Falcon and Winter Soldier episode, obviously. And I like it more than I like it. Like I'm going through these like as in like this might be one of the best episodes from my Disney Plus subscription. Like from a Disney Plus original content, like in my opinion. Like this
Mhm.
is one of their best episodes they've ever produced. And I'm going back to like Mandalorian too. You know what I mean? Like not there are some. I'm trying to think. Like I'm cataloging if there are like because there. This might be the best episode like that I feel like they've ever produced. Disney Plus has ever produced, and that's my opinion on this episode.
All
Not
right.
not the series, the episode.
I think the episode was strong, but I think there's a lot of it. It's a very well done, well written, well acted, well produced episode. I felt that because there was so much layers, so much subtext. So not so much subtext, but so much. There was the Carly's moment with Sam. There was John Walker getting his ass beat by the Doge.
Dora Milaje.
Ramalaj, and I call myself a Marvel fan. And then that final scene, and
Make
I'm like,
yours
wait,
Snyder,
there's so
baby.
much stuff happening that I'm like, okay, this is just this is just a great piece. This standalone is one of the best episodes, but being Marvel, it doesn't stand alone. You have to watch all the other stuff too to know what's happening. You know what I mean? But so let's talk about the other scenes. So we talked about Bucky getting liberated. What about that moment where dude gets his ass kicked handed to him by the Dora Milaje?
I think we got off on the wrong foot. Bucky?
Kyle. Kyle, let's talk about it.
Man, because you know one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit, but we'll pause on here because I have a greater just because one of the things this episode does so well that I don't think the rest of the series it does do, but not as well as this episode did, was just there are no one-dimensional characters in this series. There are no one-dimensional characters. Every single character that was in this episode was they have so much nuance to them. They're so fleshed out, and I'm using and we're gonna pause on this moment, like you said, like the moment when he gets his ass kicked by the Dora Milaje, which is awesome. Anytime that I see the Dora Milaje, I'm like, yes. Like I don't care what movie it is, you know what I mean? I don't care what it is. Anytime the Dora Milaje pop up, it's like, yes, dude. Like, cause somebody's about to get either their ass whooped or bitched out, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, somebody is about to get their comeuppance. You know what I mean? Like, and so freaking, he gets his butt kicked, and then they have that great moment. You know what I mean? Where he's not pissed. He's just looks at his partner like, dude,
You're right, man. They weren't even super soldiers.
useless. You know what I mean? Like freaking.
Like they weren't even super soldiers. I'm like, dude, what the heck? That was sublime. That was some sublime acting. I will give it that. I do. As an actor, you are winning me over. Cause damn,
dude, Wyatt Russell is killing it, dude, in this role. And it's he's killing it because man, in the writing too. They're making us. It would have been so easy to make this character like Hayward, right?
Right.
Like Hayward in WandaVision. It'd have been so easy to just make him like him, but he's not. He's this dude who really wants to do good, and that makes his story much more tragic. You know what I mean? And it's much more powerful to witness. You know what I mean? This was dude, I just want to do the right thing. You know what I mean? He's almost the personification of that idiom. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You know what I mean? He's almost the personification of that. The idea that he really just wants to do good, and every decision he's ever made in the series is based on him wanting to do the right thing. You know what I mean? His heart is eternally in the right place, and because of that, you want to pull for this guy but he just keeps effing everything up. You know what I mean? Like,
It feels like he's trying to be so much like Steve Rogers that he's getting in his own way. Like Steve Rogers would do this, but he was like he's trying to get in his own way of what would be, and he feels that we'll talk about this too later. Is that he's still missing that thing, and maybe the super soldier serum, which is a big part of this episode, will finally make him what he his idol, for lack of a better word, which he does take. And then you wanted to pause on this. Let's talk about that final scene, and then we'll go back to the moment you paused.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That final moment when the whole world. So the episode is called "The Whole World Is Watching," which I went to my IMDb trivia, and they're like, "That's a throwaway line. That's a line from Civil War, where T'Challa dad's like, the whole world's watching right now." So I'm like, what the frack? That image with the post, I'm like, that is like, I am speechless.
my mouth was open when we got to that part. You know what I mean? Like, and my eyes were watering because I hadn't blinked in a long time. Because I texted my brother that because he had texted me earlier that morning. He just had it was just an emoji or not an emoji. It was just a GIF. And like, dude, episode 4, you know what I mean? Like, and just like Will Smith saying like, damn, or something like that. You know what I mean? And so like. But yeah, so I like texted him back that like, dude, like freaking my eyes are watering right now because like I couldn't even blink them as I was watching the last like 5 minutes of this episode. But like freaking yes, that moment, like what an iconic shot. Even like that shot was first of all really cool. But what an iconic shot, like you said when I talked to you yesterday, you're like that's a comic book cover. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it's such an iconic shot, and it like nearly defines the series. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine. Obviously, we haven't seen the last 2 episodes, but I can't imagine like thinking back to Falcon and Winter Soldier and that not being the first shot that pops into my mind.
Right.
Just bloody fucking shield. Walker holding this bloody shield. You know what I mean? And like, I think one of the things Captain America movies do. Each Captain America movie, and this is a Captain America legacy thing, but one of the things that Captain America movies do, unlike the rest of the movies sometimes do, Captain America movies change the entire MCU. Each one of them has. After First Avenger, we went right into the Avengers, and the MCU was forever changed because of it. After Winter Soldier, we learned that Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., and as a result, S.H.I.E.L.D. got decommissioned, and the MCU was forever changed because of it. Freaking after Civil War, like the Sokovia Accords became a thing. You know what I mean? The Avengers broke up, and the MCU was forever changed because of it. Like after this moment, if you guys don't think the MCU is forever changed because of this moment right here, you know what I mean? Like you're out of your mind. Like this is going to change everything. You know what I mean? Like everything on like Earthbound anyway. You know what I mean? Like sure that there's a lot of cosmic stuff coming up, but this is going to change everything. You know what I mean? Like the whole world saw this, and they saw, for lack of what's up?
No, you nothing. For lack of a better
word, the whole world just saw Captain America murder somebody in cold blood in front of the whole world. You know what I mean? Like, and that shield that was like this symbol of peace, but it was only a symbol of peace because Captain America held the shield, because Steve Rogers held the shield. You know what I mean? Like that shield, regardless of how you look at it, it still is a symbol. Now it's a symbol for something else.
Yes, it is. Which goes back to Zemo's point at the beginning of the episode. I can't find this clip. It's very much saying, like, the super serum represents like the Nazis. Like, they're supremacists, pretty much. The supremacists, they're extremists, and they go. Steve wasn't. Well, and to Zemo's counterpoint was, had there been someone as good as Steve Rogers? There hasn't. And so that the fact that, and I give this, and I'm like, that's kind of a perfect bookend of that Zemo's point. Like, there's been no one as good as Steve Rogers, and then what John Walker does. I'm like, dude, all right, this is one of the greatest pieces of fiction, entertainment. I don't even. It's more than entertainment, but I don't know what to call it. But I'm like, this is amazing. Like you said, like this is like changed my mind. It felt like Zack Snyder did it. So.
If if one of the things, to your point that you were just making, it makes me very appreciative that the characters are so nuanced, because it makes that story hit home harder. You know what I mean? Like, if these characters were like one-dimensional villains, it wouldn't fit. We wouldn't feel the way we feel when we see that. You know what I mean? When we see these things, because like this episode really hits home the fact that, like, you know, this is an action series or whatever, and this is a buddy cop-ish type series or whatever. But the series, this episode really hits home. This series is about competing ideologies. Like it really is about competing ideologies. It's about, you know, how Sam feels about his place in the world and what heroes' places should be in the world, how Zemo feels about his place in the world, and how, like, you know, super people's place in the world should be, how Bucky feels about his place in the world and how things should be. You know what I mean? Everybody has this idea of who they are and what the world should be. Right. Everybody has that. All the main characters in this show have this idea of who they are and what the world should be. You know what I mean? Like, and they're all like pushing that forward, and that they're so realized as characters that it doesn't feel fake when it happens. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like Carly isn't like a stupid villain to me. Like, her evolution to a villain is so cool to me. Like, now, because of the way, like, how they can just converse. She can converse with Sam. You know what I mean? Like, they connect, and he even says so as much himself. Look, I believe in your ideals. Like, we agree with one another. The way you doing your stuff, the way you're handling it, though, like, I can't get with that. You know what I mean? Like, and one of the things we always say, show don't tell. One of the things I really like about this show series, the first time he goes to meet Carly, he's like, no, wait, give me time. This is what I do. I can go in there. He went in alone, and by alone, like, not just without backup, like
without armor,
with a shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, in a shirt and pants. Like, he just went her there to talk, and then and like, you know, yeah, what's the name? Walker came in and effed all that up, right? But then she called and threatened his sister, and the next time he went to meet her, it was as the Falcon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Like, that show don't tell. Like, look, like, I'm coming here, you as a man. Oh, you escalate things. Now you get the Falcon. You know what I mean? Like, I tried, like, but now I got the hero stuff on. Like, you know what I mean? If this is how you want to play it, like, I ain't no punk. Like, I will, you know what I mean? I will take you on if I have to, kind of a thing. Like, I just appreciate the nuance of the show.
Oh, but yawning, you're yawning.
Okay, just I know we're probably wrapping it up a bit, but I do want to jump into a bit of Zemo though too.
Yes, please go ahead. Let's do that.
Because we didn't really touch Zemo, and like, while we're like wading into like different ideologies and how well, like, I feel like Carly and John fit these ideas. You know what I mean? The fact that Carly and earlier when I said that John is the personification of that thing I said.
You remember, yeah.
Of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. While John is that, so is Carly. So is Carly. They're like two sides of the same coin, and they're like kind of growing together. You know what I mean? And you see, like, they're on a similar path actually. Yes, Carly is also, like, you know, because her every intention is good too. Right. But she is like, unlike John, who's like genuinely trying to do right things, she is like trying to do bad things. You know what I mean? Right. Like, she's like trying to do bad things for you know, well-intentioned reasons. You know what I mean? But going back to that, like, going back to Zemo, you know what I mean? Taking this to Zemo, like, because Zemo reminds us that this is a freaking battle of intellect. You know what I mean? He reminds us, like, no, like, this is a battle of ideals. Nobody like this should exist. You know what I mean? I like the moment that he has, like he teases the audience, like, oh, is he gonna take the super soldier serum? He's holding it, you know what I
Right.
mean? And he's like, is this what I think it is? And we're all like, oh my God, is he finna be a super soldier? Like, and he's like, nah, that I'm kidding. I'm breaking all this crap right now.
To me, that was awesome. That to me, I'm like, yes, Zemo, yes. Because like again, like everyone's so convicted in their beliefs that I'm like, nope, we're out. And it's like was it last episode? Or was this episode where they're like, that's how God, isn't that how God talks? Isn't that kind of supremacy talk?
Yeah.
They're all if they're not zealots, they're borderline zealots.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. No, agreed. And honestly, like I appreciate that.
Yes.
I really appreciate that, like the new, because they all have like, we all know who these characters are. So when they do stuff, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not out of character for Zemo. It is not out of character for Zemo to be helping the good guys in this series because what they're up against. And I like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I hate when bad guys help. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that, except that this makes total sense because his complete mission is the eradication of super soldiers. And like, they're fighting super soldiers. So of course, he's going to do everything he can to make sure he's still doing villain stuff. He's still like, oh, I'm killing this scientist because he
created it.
He's the only guy that can make this. Oh, so, great. What an opportunity.
You have a rule that you told me that you said that you hate it when villains kill other villains. I'm like, but this was justified though. This is a justified reason for killing this dude. Or at least no.
He was a bad dude, but he wasn't a villain. Like that guy, he was a bad dude, but he wasn't a villain. But again, like Zemo still may be revealed to be the villain of this series, but he isn't right now. He's not the villain of this series. He's a villain.
Right.
He's just happened to be operating on the side of angels. His motivation that makes him a villain hasn't changed.
True.
And so that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like when they use villains to kill other villains to make the main villain seem more evil.
Right.
To do that. You know what I mean? I don't like when they do that. Like, if two villains kill each other as a result of just villain shit happening, you know what I mean? That is what it is. But like, specifically, I'll call out like Age of Ultron. Avengers Age of Ultron. There's a moment, he doesn't kill him, but there's a moment when Ultron and Claw are having that exchange, and Ultron gets pissed and chops his arm off. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh man, like, because Ultron's a bad dude, right? But that dude was a villain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like,
I'm going to up you one. When Killmonger kills Claw. I'm like,
Agreed. I don't like that. I don't like when they use a villain, when they try to puff up a villain's evilness by having him kill someone who is also evil. You know what I mean? It's like, well, he was probably gonna get it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, when you show a villain kill somebody like who we care about, or you know what I mean, or an innocent person or something. You know what I mean? That does more. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying to that. So like it didn't bother me when what's his name killed the scientist, because that's his MO. You know what I mean? Like, I got to get rid of the super soldier serum at all costs. Right. And him stopping that, you know what I mean? Like him trying to get rid of all the super soldier serum physically, even too, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then to try and get rid of the super soldiers, he was almost, you know what I mean? Almost had Carly off, you know what I mean? Like, and his ideal, just super, like, no, the fact that she wants to be super makes her a supremacist. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that she wanted, the fact that she took it, because, and he wasn't wrong. He was like, she wanted to make soldiers. She wanted to make soldiers, and that was her aim until they came in there and stopped her and broke that. That's what she was on. She was making a super army, and no matter how you look at it, you're like, yeah, I mean, good intentions. You know what I mean? Good intentions, but they were making a super army, super soldier army. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I have nothing else to add. Anything else to say? Any final thoughts? Any final comments?
No, I don't. I'm not. I will say this. Like, I'm not expecting any. I have no expectations for this series beyond what it has already shown me. Like, when I went in expecting an action-packed series, and that is what I'm getting. You know what I mean? For the most part, I didn't expect the depth that I'm getting of it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't expect the depths that they were going through. But yeah, I don't really have any expectations from the like at this point in WandaVision, I was nervous that they weren't going to stick the landing. At this point in Falcon and Winter Soldier, the story is so different that like they don't necessarily have to stick the landing, because number one, it's not building up like WandaVision, you know what I mean, to be like this great thing. It's just like, nah, we're kind of just this straightforward thing. Like it's just 2 episodes left, you know what I mean? All they got to do is really just freaking wrap up most of the threads that they freaking told. And it doesn't look, unlike WandaVision, it doesn't look like they're, you know what I mean? There might be something here and there that they don't like go back to, but like I doubt, like again, like I hope Isaiah Bradley comes back. I hope that wasn't a one-off thing, you know what I mean? Like, but beyond that, and I'm curious to see where Bucky ends up after all this too. Just because, you know, his story is so, I don't know where they're taking, you know, where the way they've shown us his story, I don't know where they're taking him. You know what I mean? I don't know where they're taking him with that.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam is like more clear. Like you're rising to become a symbol. Bucky, I don't know where they're taking him though.
The White Wolf.
But that's all I got though.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta think, like I'm surprised. Like it took me a minute to finally, and watching it again, probably didn't help that I was hungover. Was that I was like, okay, I'm starting to care now a little bit more. But it's 2 episodes left. Now I'm like, now I just want to know who is the power broker, what's gonna happen to John Walker after doing this, and what is Bucky gonna become Captain America? I don't want him to become Captain America, but I don't want the shield to. I want the shield to go back to Sam, but I don't want to become Captain America. That's probably what's gonna happen.
You just reminded me of another question to ask you, which was, do you think they've dropped them a lot? Number 2 things. Do you think we are introduced to the power broker? Number 1, and number 2, if we aren't, do you think the power broker is important to the story? Do you think we need to be introduced to the power broker? And B, do you think we will see the power broker?
I don't think we are. We're 2 episodes in. Like maybe in the last episode, like maybe they're gonna pull a Agatha all along. It better have a fucking catchy tune. Sung
by Black Falcon.
Yes. I see right now the power broker is a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
To use a film school quote, take a shot. It's a MacGuffin. Because like we haven't seen them, like everything's moving, like it's just this invisible hand. Like we don't really need him. I don't think we're gonna see him. If we might see him in the next Captain America movie, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we're gonna be introduced to him. And honestly, I'm indifferent if we see the power broker, whoever he or she is. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I have a similar feeling, because like you said, there's only 2 episodes left. And that was like my theory. I was like, if we get to episode 4 and we haven't been introduced to the power broker, it's either like we're not gonna see them, or like they're someone we already know, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, why are you gonna wait this long to introduce us to this new element? You know what I mean? Like, when you're still trying to pay off stuff, kind of a thing, you know? So I think that there are enough moving parts to the series now, as of now with the addition of like the Dora Milaje and Zemo and Walker and the Flag Smashers. I feel like there are all there are enough elements here to just pay off what's here. You know what I mean? I kind of don't think we're like, like you said, it was a MacGuffin. I think first of all, I was like, well, they're mentioning the name too much to not show it. But now I'm like, they mention the name a lot, but they're actually not too much to do with what's happening here. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, we hear about their hand, but we actually very rarely see their hand in motion. The only time we saw him was was that episode 2 when they were running from him, when they escaped from him. The Flag Smashers escaped from him. But like that, beyond that, we really, you know, like you said, it's an invisible hand. We keep hearing them and keep hearing they're pissed, but their pissedness has very little to do with this show as a whole. So I'm starting to kind of feel like, because Marvel does still have a mode, you know what I mean? And they typically, you know, I don't think they're going to introduce a new element in the last 2 episodes.
I agree. I don't think they are either.
Maybe it's the Mandarin. Maybe it's Trevor Slattery.
Hello, my name is Trevor. I'm an actor. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna wrap it up. We'll see you same freaking time, same freaking channel. Frack off.